Okay, a quick review of all the major decisions that took place in the Liverpool versus Chelsea game. Liverpool won 2-1 and it was controversial. There's some things that we have to discuss, but we all need to be mature and logical about it. So let's go through the decisions very quickly. The first one, Salah's appeal for his first penalty. Well, the first penalty appeal, not a penalty. I agree with the decision by the ref and the VAR, right? And I don't think that was a penalty. Just some contact from Levi Colwill, not a penalty. Play on. Second one, Curtis Jones, I agree with that one. Not a penalty. Referee got it wrong initially. VAR said, go have a look. And he's overturned the decision not to give a penalty because Sanchez gets the ball. Curtis Jones took too long and literally got to a point where he didn't know what to do. Yeah, he didn't know what to do with it. He was taking too long. Sanchez made a tackle. It was a clean tackle. For me, not a penalty. I agree with that. Great decision by VAR. Third one, Mo Salah's goal, the penalty after a foul by Levi Colwill on Curtis Jones. Yes, that I agree. That's a penalty as well. Definitely not going to be overturned by VAR for sure. So I think it's a good decision by everyone involved and that Levi Colwill was just reckless and should have been more careful. Now, having said that, there are two decisions that we need to have a closer look at. Firstly, the Chelsea penalty appeal, Jadon Sancho, after a tackle by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, looking at this carefully, I think it's a penalty. I think it is a foul that's committed by Trent. Why? Jadon Sancho is dribbling. He is the attacker and he's showing his skill and he gets Trent in the wrong position. It's Jadon Sancho's work and skill that makes Trent get confused and loses Sancho and the ball, right? And what does he end up doing? He ends up actually kicking the back foot, the standing foot of Jadon Sancho after Jadon Sancho has turned him. Sancho has turned him. That is for sure, right? Initially, he was keeping up, but then he lost it. Sancho has turned him. He's in the box. Trent sticks his leg out. He literally makes contact with Jadon Sancho's back foot, his standard foot. He steps on him and basically he fouls him. And I think that's a foul and it's actually a penalty. Now, having said that, is that enough for VAR to overturn? They didn't think so, and I can understand why. The ref did not necessarily make a clear and obvious error. It was not easy to spot, and you could understand why on field the referee said no penalty, and therefore, based on how VAR is being used or how we are told it's being used, I'm okay with them not overturning that decision. However, I do think the referee should have given a penalty initially, because that's a penalty. And then lastly, at the beginning of the game, should Tosin have been sent off? We saw yesterday, literally Saliba made a similar tackle. Some people will say the exact same tackle. It's the same tackle. He is last man and he brings the player down who looks to be clean through on goal. Saliba got a red card. Arsenal got a red card. They got punished for it. Initially, the ref gave a yellow. VAR looked at it and overturned it. And for me, it was great. A great decision. It was a red, clear as day. Easy red card, right, for Saliba. Is this the same situation? Now, the points that we're going to look at to say, yes, it is. We obviously know that the ball has been played over the top. Jota is also clean through, right? He's literally past Chelsea's defense. So therefore, Tosin is the last man. Someone's going to say Levi Colwill is literally in close proximity. And the difference would be that Ben White was way further than Evan Nielsen was. And he was not going to get there in time, that's for sure. I do think that if you're looking at the still image, it doesn't matter that Levi Colwill is close. He is still behind the ball. And therefore, that should point to giving the red card. Why? Because Jota is clean through. If he has passed Tosin, he's clearly passed Colwill. Whether or not Colwill is close, yes, he can be close, but he's behind. He's behind both Jota and Tosin. So for me, you can't say that there is cover. There's no cover. Jota's gone. The only point, though, that I can say for VAR is that when this ball bounces, the ball is actually going wider and not coming in. The ball, when it lands, is not traveling towards the direction of the goal, but it's actually going wide. And therefore, I can give VAR the benefit of the doubt in this case to not overturn the yellow card. I do think that because that's the only difference. That's the only difference for me, is that the ball is traveling wide. It's literally traveling towards the corner flag at this point. Although Jota is through, he would have to go fetch it from that side and then come back in. If you look at the video closely, I promise you that ball is not going straight to the penalty box. It is not. So for me, yes, I would agree in this case that it's actually not the same situation simply because of the ball, simply because of the direction that the ball is traveling. Yesterday's one, clean red card everything points to a red card. The ball is traveling towards the box. Evan Nilsson is clear of Saliba. Ben White is nowhere near him. He's not covering. He's not getting there. I do think that Koval, please do not make the excuse saying Koval is close, he's covering. I do not take that point whatsoever. If that was being considered, then for me, it shouldn't have counted. Then it should have been a straight red because Koval is not getting there. Jota is clear. He's clear of Tosin. And by definition of being clear of Tosin, he's also cleared Koval because he's behind both of them. Koval is behind both of them. And if Jota is running and he's outpacing Tosin, he's definitely outpacing Koval. So for me, Jota was through. But because of the direction that the ball is traveling, I do think that it was not a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Maybe more would have had to be done. Jota would have to do more simply because he'd have to fetch the ball on the wing and then come back in. And maybe by that time, Chelsea defenders would be covering. Simply because of the direction of the ball, I am okay with the decision to leave it at a yellow card. In summary of the VAR decisions that we've seen this past weekend, the red card for Saliba, I think it was brilliant use of VAR. All these moments that we've discussed in the Liverpool and Chelsea game, what a game by the way, thoroughly entertaining. I do think VAR was used correctly. Yes, the referee I think only made a mistake for me with the Sancho, not awarding the Sancho foul by Trent on Sancho, the penalty for Chelsea. But I do think VAR, based on how we understand VAR is being used for the clear and obvious, it was applied correctly in all of these situations. And definitely for the City game as well, I do think John Stones' goal should have stood. Remember, on field, the referee disallowed it for offside, but I think it was correctly changed and the decision was overturned and it was a goal for Man City. So I would say, out of all the pressure that we've seen and we call them out so much and we blame them for so many things, I do think in this weekend, VAR was not bad. They actually did a good job. I think they did a good job. I think for me, they deserve a job well done. I just think so. They were not as bad as people would want us to believe. The rest of my thoughts about the game, I do think it was a brilliant game, thoroughly entertaining. I enjoyed it, especially the first half and towards the second half as well. I think it was entertaining. It was one of the best games of the season. I mean, it did fade out towards the end, but it was amazing. Drama all around. I do think Chelsea impressed me. I thought Chelsea, actually, they showed me that they were better than what I thought Chelsea are at the moment. They actually showed me they were better, dominated the ball, created some decent chances themselves, but not necessarily clear-cut chances. I thought Nicholas Jackson finish was good. His run, timing of his run, composure for the goal was good, but Chelsea then lost concentration immediately afterwards and Liverpool punished. I think Curtis Jones was definitely man of the match. Amazing performance by him. I think that's the best Curtis Jones performance that I've ever seen him play. I was thoroughly impressed. I do think he should have had even more goals in this game. I think there's times where he was just taking too long to make a decision, but his overall gameplay was amazing. I would also like to say shout out to Moises Caicedo because I am seeing the work. Everyone has been saying that he's improved so much from the end of last season to where he is now, and I want to say that I saw that. He was immense on that field. He gave it his all. He was on that field. Moises Caicedo, wow, what a performance. Unfortunate to end up on the losing side. Yeah, I just don't think Chelsea did enough in attack. Really, they did everything else good, maybe in terms of possession, building up, keeping play, but not in the final third and definitely not defensively. Anslot continues his work. I think Liverpool are looking so impressive, especially since this is a new coach. I would want to shout out the fact that they've only conceded 3 goals this season. Impressive, thoroughly impressive. What a weekend of Premier League football. Football is back. We've missed it so much. Lots of drama. And I do think in this case, the referee decisions were not that bad. And I think we can live with the decisions that the referees made in this case. What a weekend. Thoroughly amazing. Arsenal drop points. They're the ones that actually will feel it for the title race. United get the win. Chelsea get the loss. Arsenal get the loss. City get a last minute winner. Liverpool get a massive win. Next week, it will be Liverpool and Arsenal, and Saliba will not be available. So I don't know how Arsenal fans will be feeling. Liverpool fans obviously now will have the confidence, and Arsenal fans are a little bit, like their performances are starting to dip. So it's getting set up nicely. We are getting into the motion of the league. Maybe it's shaping up to what we will see towards the end of the season. With that being said, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what your views are on the decisions. We can have debates when it comes to decisions like this because they are close, and that's what I mean. when it's not close, we really shouldn't be arguing for the sake of arguing. I don't think Saliba's one was close at all. I don't think City's one was close at all. I think those were clear-cut decisions that the referees got right. However, in this Liverpool game, I think, there's some things to discuss, and this is what football is about. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. I hope you also share the same sentiments in terms of maybe having an honest, open discussion, and we listen to each other. But I had a great weekend of Premier League football. I hope you did too. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching.